ScoobTober is back and we have a Scooby-Doo Halloween, aired as part of the What New Scooby-Doo during its second season, episode 6. The story begins where we both see Shaggy and Scooby run away from a swamp creature, luring it into Fred's trap, capturing it. While chatting to the officer about the case, Shaggy and Scooby hurry them into the van as they explain that they would never make it in time to Velma's aunt, Meg and Uncle Evan's house for Halloween. Driving on the road, Fred takes note on how cool it is to be in the back seat, as he's always been driving the van. It's a rare sight to see him in. Shaggy wants to hurry to beat the crowd, so being there early is a must-have. All while Fred points out that Shaggy is hard on the clutch, pointing out that he should stay in the third because it's a delicate piece of machinery after all. But Shaggy, being Shaggy, drives aggressively to the point where Fred berates Shaggy, telling him he's killing the Mystery Machine. So it's time for a change of seat, and Fred resumes the control of his baby and makes way to Velma's aunt and uncle's house. Arriving at the destination, they get a sudden welcome when Curtis tells them to freeze for trespassing, but when Meg and Evan see who it is, they say it was a false alarm. This leads Velma to ask what's going on, to which they find out that someone has been slashing and burning the cornfields at night, with police having no clues as to who's doing it and why. Regrouping inside, Velma gets introduced to Marcy, who she hasn't seen in a very long time, but claims she hasn't changed at all. Marcy agrees and says the same thing about Velma, stating she's wearing the exact same outfit. Uncle Evan tells the gang that the legend of Hank Banning is due to show up, as Banning Junction is celebrating its 100th anniversary of Halloween. Hank used to be mayor 30 years ago until his wits got the better of him. Meg tells the gang he's being paranoid as he was unfit to serve in office, so the town folks voted him out. Evans claims that when he died on Halloween night he put a curse on the town, to which his spirit would return after 100 years to seek revenge on the town that wronged him. Meg explains that most people don't believe in all that, but with a turnout record like it is, most people are here just in case the legend is somewhat true. Ending the night off, we see something slashing and burning the cornfields, scaring 2 civilians away. The next morning, Uncle Evans introduced Velma to everyone and explains that she and her friends are spending the holidays with them. Just so they get all introductions out the way, Curtis comes in, telling everyone that it's happened again. Fred examines the area and questions the strange markings on the ground, as it's impossible as everything leaves tracks in cornfields including animals, according to Velma. Scooby and Shaggy head up a water tower after chasing a black cat who took their candy apple. Upon looking down, they see patterns that are symbols of Halloween. Fred finds a glove, a possible clue perhaps. Agnes appears, telling them the ghost of Hank Banning made them, claims it's a prophecy where he would leave signs on the fields foretelling his return. Everyone is in disbelief. Even Evan claims it's ridiculous, while the mayor claims it to be an old wives' tale to scare little kids. Agnes claims the mayor didn't call it that when he was telling tourists about the tale, to encourage them to spend more money. Agnes ends the conversation off by telling them to heed the warnings and that the end is near, and tonight Hank will rise from the dead to seek revenge. While everyone's taking this all in, Fred bets someone's behind all this and Daphne suspects it's Marcy. While Fred and Velma claim she's innocent, Daphne says it's a woman's intuition. So the gang decide to split up and search for clues. Fred, Daphne and Velma head to the library to do research on the town's history. Shaggy and Scooby head to Agnes' home to see what they can find out. Shaggy and Scooby arrive at Agnes' home only to find out nobody's home, because when they knocked, the door suddenly opens on its own, indicating to come on in. While searching around, Scooby notices a cat bowl belonging to Mr. Noodles and decides to eat it. Eventually they find some gardening tools, to which they suspect Agnes could be the one behind all this. But then Agnes appears behind them, telling them that it's rude to enter without knocking, so Shaggy and Scooby come up with an excuse saying that this isn't the bakery, before getting out of there with Scooby. While at the library, Velma noticed the food processing plant just outside of town, and apparently they've been buying up properties over the years. Daphne says the cornfields where the patterns appeared are the last independently owned fields in the area, and Fred tells them that Eldon Reed owns the processing plant. Eventually they meet Marcy, who is at the library studying for her electrical engineering exam. After the quick catch-up, Daphne decides the time is now to question her on what she was doing this morning in town square, and follow up on questions of any witnesses who can confirm it. Marcy explains that she was at the mall working part-time with a security guard and her assistant manager backing her story, with in-store cameras to prove it. Hearing this, Daphne asks for the tape, and upon looking she claims she can't see her face in the tape, so it could be anyone. Shifting on, we see the gang enter the cornfields. While investigating, Scooby decides to joke around pretending to be a ghost, scaring him. But moments later, the scarecrow comes alive, with the rest of the gang believing it's Scooby again, only to find out more scarecrows come alive. So the gang decide to run away, to a nearby barn, only to find the doors to be locked. Just as all hope is lost, Scooby hoses the scarecrows with water, thus finding out they're all robots all along. Other robots retreated, with Velma claiming whoever is controlling them is sending them elsewhere. Around this point, Fred has a plan, which involves Shaggy and Scooby going undercover as scarecrows, replacing the two they short-circuited moments ago, and using them to follow the ones that retreated, while the rest of the gang follow where the signal's coming from. Shaggy and Scooby end up at a party where Kiss are performing, while Fred and the others locate the signal source to Town Hall. While at the party, the ghost of Hank Banning appears, telling everyone that he's returned to seek revenge, telling them to prepare for their doom. Fred tries to throw a pumpkin at a ghost, which has no effect. We also get a nice montage from the gang as they do their classic ghost/villain chase, with Scooby dressing up as a superhero to save Shaggy. Eventually, Fred finds out that the ghost is nothing more than a projection, leading them to check the projection booth, only to find it's empty and leaving them confused as to who would go to such lengths to upstage Halloween. Velma finally figures out who's behind all this, and if the hunch is right, it's Marcy, which proves Daphne was right all along with her woman's intuition. Velma explains when Daphne said she wanted to upstage Halloween, she knew it had to be Marcy. She also noted the videotape of her at the mall. While it was Marcy in the tape, a very important clue was on there: the glove that was found by the water tower. Velma also explained that Marcy was able to build the scarecrows due to her electric engineering class at school, and that she used them to make the patterns in the cornfield. Uncle Evan and Meg questioned Marcy on why she would do this, as she was called Princess after all, to which Marcy asked them do they have any idea what today is. Both blind-sighted, they respond by telling her it's Halloween. While that is somewhat true, it isn't the case. It's in fact Marcy's birthday as well, telling them how it feels to have the birthday overshadowed by Halloween every year of her life. But seeing as no one got hurt and nothing she did was technically illegal, the sheriff decides to give a community service to make up for it. The night almost over, Shaggy and Scooby go trick-or-treating, and this is when we see Scooby dressed as Shaggy and Shaggy dressed as Scooby-Doo, something that will be shown again in Trick or Treat Scooby-Doo later this month in their new upcoming movie. Thanks for watching ScoobTober, hope you enjoyed yourself. Remember to subscribe and join me tomorrow for another tale.